Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be looking at Chainlink valuations against Bitcoin as well as the US dollar. Remember, if you do like this video and the other videos that I make on this channel, be sure to hit the like button down below and also consider subscribing. So, two things that I'd like us to look at today, both of which are with the US dollar. So, not so much talking about Chainlink Bitcoin at the moment, but it's something that I do like to touch upon. We are if we get rid of these drawings here, you'll note that we're at the same level that we were back in March of the lows of about 47,000 satoshis, and we're kind of holding strong here. This will be a quite interesting moment to see because, and in fact, I will get rid of this here because this channel is pretty much invalidated. But what we can see here is, potentially Chainlink holding this as support from Bitcoin, and we start to kind of have a period of Chainlink having a strong foundation, right? Which will be interesting because we haven't seen this kind of, strong base, flat, stagnant base in a long, long time. You can interpret potentially this area here as that strong base, right? We came below it, but we also came quite near it as well. A couple months, a year later almost. And so we're seeing something of a similar nature. We see something lower, but we come back to it quite closely to that same level. So if that's the case, then potentially against Bitcoin, Chainlink has a means of at least keeping pace and not bleeding any further, at least against Bitcoin. And then hopefully we could see it start to begin the rise again, like what we've seen in past price movement. But we shall see. This ultimately depends on Bitcoin for short-term movements. If Bitcoin drops pretty significantly, then Chainlink will have a negative effect. We'll get a negative effect from that, and we would see a lower price with Bitcoin and against the US dollar. However, if Bitcoin begins a recovery or stops bleeding, then we can also see the opposite happen with Chainlink, where Chainlink has a chance to start outpacing Bitcoin. Another thing to also keep in mind for people is that this could be a potential head and shoulders pattern, right? So this would be the head, shoulder, left shoulder, and then if this holds and we come back out and we kind of get rejected at around 78,000 satoshis and we start moving back down, well, there you go. There's your head and shoulders pattern. I'm not so much in favor of head and shoulders patterns. It seems, or inverse for that matter, it seems like people will just try to find something where like they're looking for the head and shoulders pattern. It's not that it's there; they're just looking for it, and so your mind kind of fills it in, and you try to rationalize if it's a head and shoulder that it is a HNS pattern. But regardless, for the people who really like it, like this is what I would consider to be a potential head and shoulders pattern. And then we're at the neckline right now. We can come back up if we get rejected at around 78,000 satoshis. Then it's quite likely that we come back down, and then our position would come, like the price would come back to 47,000 satoshis or what have you. Anyway, that's it with the Bitcoin price. Let's take a look at the US dollar price. So, um, first, I want to have us take a look at the monthly chart. So this is the monthly chart for Chainlink against the US dollar. Every candle is representative of a month. So for the past 3 months, we have bled. We have three red monthly candles. In fact, the most consecutive red monthly candles we've had ever, right? If we were to close today, we have instances of one red monthly candle, maybe groups of two. The closest one would be this one here, which would be three. All right, and this one I would even say is neutral candle because it was only down 0.52% against the US dollar. But, technically speaking, we have seen three red monthly candles, but this would probably be one of the most devastating three monthly candles we've had thus far, in Chainlink's history. With that said, there is a moving average I want us to take a look at, which is the 20 month. Okay, so this is the 20-month moving average, and we don't have much information from this moving average. We only have it up until April 2019. With that said, we've bounced off of it once. We wicked to it again back in the month of March of 2020. And here we are this month, okay, in this past move of yesterday, of us wicking down to wicking down to the 20 month. We have bounced off of it. Chainlink is currently up about almost 8% against the US dollar, and we have at least wick to it. It is yet to be said if we're able to hold it or not, but it'll be very interesting, to say the least, in 2.5 weeks' time when it's August, and we'll see what happens with Chainlink. Um, Again, we have never seen three. This is the most devastating 3 monthly candles we've had. We've never seen a fourth. Okay, that's not to say that this is to me saying like it's going to go up on August. All I'm saying is that the chart has showed we've never had 4 monthly candles in a row. Um, that doesn't mean it will never happen. In fact, that's probably naive to think about. But for the time being, Chainlink has never had 4 red monthly candles in a row. Okay. And it might be nice to say August might be a green monthly candle. How big that monthly candle is, I cannot tell you. I really can't tell you. What I do think is that Chainlink will end up outpacing Bitcoin throughout the duration of Bitcoin being below the 20-week moving average. We're currently what, 77, 70-ish days below the 20-week moving average or so. Hold on, let's take a look. Okay, it's been about 63 days below the 20-week moving average. And so there you go. I think by the time Bitcoin breaks above the 20-week moving average and holds it, I think at that point, when you measure the bottom, the entry point of Chainlink when it broke the 20-week moving average, to at that point, Chainlink will have outpaced Bitcoin. And you'll see it on the Link BTC chart. Uh, and with that said, that would also probably coincide with Chainlink against the US dollar, that we would see a rise. It wouldn't be $14.87. The second thing I want us to talk about is the 50-week moving average for Chainlink. The 50-week is another moving average that we have been looking at for quite some time. It is a moving average that we tend to hold. We could see it wick here. We can see it bounce here. We can see it bounce here. Wick here, and currently we're below it. But when you take into consideration this move here, we have spent some weeks below the 50-week moving average and then recovered. So with that said, if uh, if this is kind of the move, right? The 8% today is kind of the starting move for that. We could start to see it cup over and then break above the 50-week once again for Chainlink, but that has yet to be seen. It's only happened once in Chainlink's history. Doesn't mean that it's going to happen again, but it is something that I am looking for. And especially if Bitcoin decides that, we're going to rally, we're going to have a dead cat bounce, or if we're going to, bounce from this 50-week moving average here, then that narrative, that theory, I think will become much more crucial for Chainlink. If Bitcoin decides that 5.87% is the rally, that's the dead cat bounce and we continue to move down. Well, the short term move is going to be that Chainlink will probably bleed considerable more, and then we would have to reassess the Bitcoin valuation for the short term, at least, will probably break down further. The Chainlink US dollar valuation would probably go down. um, when we looked at all the drops for Chainlink, right? This was about a 90% drop. From here to here was about a 70% drop. There are many 70% drops with Chainlink, right? Currently, right now, we have dropped roughly 71.50%. So it's coinciding with a lot of the drops that we've had, but that doesn't mean that this is the bottom for Chainlink. Again, we have experienced 90% drops with Chainlink before, and a 90% drop would bring us down to about $5. I don't know if that's in the cards, but definitely something along the lines of $10 is possible, at least in my mind. An 80% drop, I think, would be around the ballpark drop if it were to drop further. Anyway, that's all for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.